right, guys, this one is going to be a long one, so please sit and be patient with me. We're going into some topics that I can promise you definitely didn't expect to be learning in a dropshipping course, and it might seem a little bit off track. It might seem a little woohoo spiritual even, but I promise you guys, this is going to be one of the most powerful videos in the course, the most powerful sections, and this is going to be something that if you really put your all on it is going to be the detrimental factor, the keystone to your success through this program. That's something I truly believe. So it's going to be a little long. It's going to be a little bit out there. Please be patient with me. This is stuff that you have to learn to be successful. So now that we know a little bit about dropshipping, we know the foundation, we know our goal and what we're striving for, the focus now shifts to ourselves. We need to understand ourself, our thoughts, our emotions, our actions, our beliefs, and our identity. We need to discover the inner world. And most importantly, we need to clean and organize it so we can create the outer world we desire. Car, the house, the time freedom, location freedom, financial freedom, all that stuff. So without further ado, let's begin. So first things first, you have to understand that everything comes from the inner world and then moves to or is reflected to the outer world. This is why manifesting is a thing. Now, your inner world is comprised of many things, but it's basically what you would assume it is. It's everything that isn't outside of you. The best way to think of your inner world is like a physical landscape. This landscape can be created and changed very rapidly, almost like the landscape of a dream. The landscape of your inner world changes based off your thoughts, emotions, your perspectives, your ideas, your beliefs, and your identity. The inner world is extremely important because it is the only thing you can truly control in this life. Your outer world can be controlled, but you're always going to be a victim to outside circumstances. In the outside world, too many things have control over you, and in the inside world, literally nothing can control it besides you. Now, for us to fully understand our inner world, we also have to know some things about our outer world, about our universe, and some natural laws, some rules to the game of life, if you will. And in my opinion, the most important things to understand is the 7 principles of the universe. Now, as I go over these principles, you might think like these don't apply. Why are we talking about this in a dropshipping course? And I might sound like the homeless guy downtown talking to you, but trust me, this is some very, very important stuff and it'll all make sense in the grand scheme. I also want to say this before getting into it. I know a lot of you might be religious, and some of the ideas or things that I talk about might seem like it's in that religious realm, or it might conflict with ideas or beliefs that you already have. But I can absolutely promise you these are just sound principles of how the universe functions. This is all in accordance to nature, and what I'm presenting to you is facts, and if you study them yourself, you will come to the same conclusion. But without further ado, let's just go over the 7 principles of the universe. Now, I'm going to have to do these with a very quick explanation. I could literally make an entire course just about these 7 laws, and there's a lot that goes into them, so let's just go over a brief explanation. Number 1, we have the principle of mentalism, which basically states that all is mind and the universe is mental. 2, the principle of correspondence. As above, so below. As within, so without. This basically states that the reality you experience is a mirror of your inner world, which is basically the whole topic of this video. Number 3, the principle of vibration. This is something Nikola Tesla was extremely familiar with. This principle states that nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates, which we know with modern science to be fact. 4, the principle of polarity. This one is extremely strong when you fully utilize and understand it. This principle states that everything is dual. Everything has poles, a positive and negative, a north and south. Everything has its pair and its opposite. Like and unlike are the same. Opposites are identical in nature. You can think of them as a circle with positive being on the top, negative being on the bottom. There's always a connection between them. They are 2 sides of the same coin. The only thing that's different is their degree. All extremes meet. All truths are but half-truths. All paradoxes may be reconciled. The true power in this one is if everything is positive and negative at the same time, we as a human being have the ability to control where we are in the degree of positive or negative with anything that we want in life. Number 5, the principle of rhythm. Everything flows out and in. Everything has tides. All things rise, all things fall. The pendulum swing manifests in everything. The measure of the swing to the right is also the measure of the swing to the left. Rhythm always compensates. Number 6, the principle of cause and effect. Every cause has its effect. Every effect has its cause. Everything that happens is in accordance to the law. Chance is a name for law that is unrecognized. Nothing nothing escapes this law. Number 7, the principle of gender. Gender is in everything. Everything has its masculine and feminine properties. Gender manifests on all planes. Now, I know these may seem completely out of left field and you don't understand how this applies, but I would love to explain these in crazy deep detail, but this video is already going to be extremely long, and I really think the best way for you to learn these topics is to read the book, The Kybalion. This book is absolutely amazing, and it presents the laws of our universe in a very non-biased way, and I promise you, you will thank yourself for reading this book. The understanding of these principles are going to be an essential tool for your long-term success in life. I truly believe that, and this is a book that I'm going to force my kids to read when I have one. If you want to win at the game of life, you have to understand the rules that confine the game, and these are the rules that confine your reality. Here's one of my favorite quotes I've ever heard. The only true test of someone's intelligence is by measuring someone's ability to get what they want out of life. For example, if we were to look at an animal and try to measure its intelligence, we would assess its ability to accomplish goals. We would essentially measure its ability to navigate its reality. When it's hungry, how does it find food? When it needs shelter, how does it solve that problem? When it looks to mate, how well and how uniquely does it solve that task? And man is no different. Everyone seems to get lost in these weird things like how long did that person go to school, how much money do they have, how good looking are they, what connections do they have, and we use those things to measure someone's intelligence. But honestly, those things don't show how intelligent you are. The only measure of intelligence is measuring someone's ability to get what they want out of life. Do you want to live a spiritual life detached from society? How well can you achieve that? Do you want to become a materialistic millionaire? How well can you achieve that? Maybe you want to travel the world with zero belongings and have the financial freedom and time freedom to never worry about money again. That's all great, but how well can you achieve that? Truthfully, nature doesn't care how smart you are. Nature doesn't care how long you went to school. Nature cares about your ability to survive. Now, the ability to survive is kind of more in the realm of what animals are measured by. Humans, in my eyes, are measured by their ability to thrive in life. And that is why we simply must understand the laws of nature so we can best navigate ourselves through this journey towards whatever destination we choose. And for the time being, you're here with me, learning dropshipping and e-commerce in order to profit $10,000 a month. That is our exact goal, to profit $10,000 a month, which means we have to do $50,000 a month in revenue at a 20% profit margin. That's $12,500 a week in revenue and $1,780 a day in revenue. If you're selling a $40 product, that means you need to convince 45 people to purchase it each day. That's it. That's our goal here. That's our specific exact thing that we are striving for. And it's extremely important to understand and break down your goal into exact numbers like that. Your mind has to understand this task deeply. The universe needs precision. You need to tell the universe exactly what you want out of life. And once you do, the universe begins plotting with you on your desired goal. Once you set your internal frequency to the level at which you desire through precisely measuring out your exact goal and what it takes to get there, is the second that the outer world starts utilizing the law of correspondence and bringing that goal towards you. Essentially, that's what manifestation is. But you must dial yourself in on the exact goal, the exact frequency. Think of an old school radio. To get to the song you want, you must tune that radio to the exact frequency that that song is on. Even if you're slightly off, it's going to be fuzzy and you might get something close to your goal, but it won't be the exact goal. Your goal of making $10,000 a month is somewhere floating around in the universe, just like that song is on the radio frequency. Here is your desired goal. Here is you. Once you've set your frequency to the exact level of this goal, you begin to basically create gravity pulling that goal towards yourself. The inner world and the outer world operate on different time schedules. And since time is basically an illusion, it's not a linear path. So for your inner world to match with your outer world, the first thing you have to do is set the frequency like we just talked about to the exact goal. You have to know this goal. You have to feel this goal. You have to commit to it. You have to act almost as if you've already achieved the goal. Because if your frequency's set, you've essentially already achieved the goal. Time is an illusion. It only takes time for your outer world to match and pair with that goal. Once you've set your intention, you've set your frequency, it's only a matter of time until it attracts towards you. Now, we can't just ignore the fact that we live in a material world. If we were transcendent of this three-dimensional reality, the things we desire in life would just instantly come towards us. There's no time to catch up between the inner and outer world. But since we are human beings in this material world, we have to begin to work towards these goals. We must also do the work required to achieve this goal. But just know this, once you set your exact frequency of your goal, you've already done 50% of your job. To achieve the other 50%, you must do the following. Number one, you must hold faith that this goal will come to reality. You must truly believe it's possible. You have to feel that it's possible and that you're deserving and worthy of achieving this goal. You have to fuel this goal with the feelings of already having it. Think of how it would feel to have this $10,000 a month. What would you do with it? Who would you help? Would you take care of your family? Would you buy yourself a new car? Get yourself a nicer place to live? Hold on to the emotion behind these goals, these actions that you'll take once you achieve that $10,000 a month. Inside your mind, you need to create the emotion of already having the $10,000 a month, already feeling it, and hold on to this emotion every day as long as you can. Anytime you feel discouraged, you can easily think yourself into already having the $10,000 a month and rekindle that flame. Number two is creating precision. You need to have an exact plan of action to hit this goal. And don't worry, I'll take care of that part for you guys. Number three, you need to obsess over this goal daily. Honestly, let it consume you. Think about it always, be continually planning towards it. Put it at the forefront of your mind at all times. This will speed up the time it takes for your inner world and your outer world to pair. Number four, you really need to feel worthy of this achievement. A lot of people have limiting beliefs. They have success blocking beliefs, thinking that the world's scarce. It's hard to make this amount of money. $10,000 a month is so much. How could I make that? But let's put it into perspective. Guess how much Jeff Bezos makes a day in profit? It's estimated over $5 million every single day in profit. I can promise you there's an infinite amount of money, an infinite amount of meaningless paper. You making $10,000 a month through an e-commerce store is such a small drop in the bucket. The natural state of the universe is abundance. The universe has no problem giving you $10,000 profit a month. Another quote I really love is, humans don't create abundance, they create lack. The natural state of the universe is abundance, meaning that we can always get whatever we want out of life. It's humans, it's our own thoughts, it's our own emotions that create the disconnection, that create the lack, that create scarcity, fear, doubt, and all of those negative things. That brings us into number five. Never succumb to fear, lack, or doubt. These emotions plummet your frequency. It will go from the highest of highs to the lowest of lows when you start listening to lack, doubt, and fear. And when your frequency lowers, you're beginning to manifest things from the lower frequency. So your outer world is attempting to pair with that lower frequency. So it's very important to never listen to those thoughts. And this brings us into number six. With me saying that, I know it might seem scary, like, okay, anytime I have fear, anytime I have thoughts of doubt, then I'm going to start manifesting that, and then it becomes this negative spiral. You don't need to constantly focus on avoiding fear, avoiding doubt, because if you're focusing on negativity, you just create negativity. All you have to do is just ignore those thoughts. You just have to focus on the positivity. You can't fight darkness with darkness. The only thing you can do to get rid of darkness is turn on a light. So just be a light in your own life and be a light in others' lives as well. If you focus on that, if you focus on having faith in yourself and having faith in this goal, you'll never have to worry about those emotions. They'll simply come across and you can just pass them aside, knowing that it's just your mind trying to self-sabotage you on the journey to this goal. Which brings us into number seven, which is prayer. Prayer is also extremely necessary for success. Prayer is basically the action of tuning your frequency, tuning your inner radio. Prayer is essentially just speaking to the universe, setting your intention, telling the universe, telling your higher self, telling God what you want out of life. Then once that word is spoken, the universe knows and can help you on your journey. Promise you, if you're atheist, no matter what you believe, these are simply facts. If you speak out the information, if you speak out what you desire in life, it comes back to you. There's nothing you can say to refute it. Now, I totally understand a lot of these topics that I've mentioned can be kind of uncomfortable for some people, or it may even potentially clash with your current beliefs. But this information is essentially full of light. There's nothing negative with this information. My goal isn't to get you out of your religion. I'm simply sharing facts that I know to be true about the universe, about our reality. These are the rules to the game, and we want to utilize them to help us hit our desired goal. You have to understand your reality so you can optimize yourself to get what you want out of life. And to me, this is the true meaning of life: to experience what you want to experience, to grow, to feel, to create, and simply just go through life consciously with intention. But okay, all that stuff out of the way, let's try to get back to reality a little. I want to talk about the two different types of people that see success in life. This one's gonna be kind of funny, but we have the Gary V's and we have the Crystal Girls. They're both pretty much jokes, but let me explain what I'm talking about. The Gary V's are the workaholics, the people that think simply work and sheer force will get them where they want to be in life. And honestly, they're right. Work is absolutely actually a huge part of your journey to success. And there's a lot of truth in this mentality and its ability to get you results. But this outlook is so physical, it's so male. And the people that embody this energy usually completely shy away from improving their inner world with things such as meditation, intention, and all the stuff we just mentioned before. Next, we have the crystal girls. What I mean by this type of person is the person that just thinks they can manifest anything in life. This person's very hyper-focused on the inner world, and it's a very feminine energy. They attempt to be in a perfect mental state, and they usually are very resistant towards getting their hands dirty and actually working towards things. Now, obviously, with both of these things explained, I'm sure you can see that the best resolution is somewhere in the middle. Like almost anything in life, the result is in between the two opposing parties. Now, if you can marry these two realities, these two different perspectives into one, you're gonna have the best of both worlds. Because when you work on your inner world, it instantly shaves off the time between your reality of your inner world and your outer world pairing. For example, if someone has a horrible inner world, but they just work their ass off every single day, it could take them over 6 months to a year of hard work to achieve their goal. But someone with a solid inner world could achieve that exact same goal with half of the work and in half the time because they have the rules of nature on their side. I hope that makes sense. That's kind of the conclusion of everything I've talked about. Essentially, just working on hard work isn't going to get you where you want to be. It might, but it's going to take way longer. You need to back this hard work with a clear inner world, clear thoughts, clear emotions, clear actions, clear beliefs, and a clear identity that all point towards your goal of making $10,000 profit a month. And that is why I'm diving so deep into some of these crazy topics. 50% of success is your outer world, your work, and 50% of success is your inner world, your thoughts, emotions, and all that stuff. Now, with that being said, let's go fully back to reality. As I said before, I've had students come in here and make 7 figures their first year in revenue. I've also had people hit $10,000 days within their first month of opening a store. And I've also had people that have paid for this program and they haven't even logged in one time. And the sad reality is some of you guys will never hit $10,000 days in profit. Or for some of you, it'll take months and months and months, which is crazy because we're all operating from the same information, utilizing the same strategies. Through creating the 1.0 version of this course and really seeing how this process works, I've seen a lot of people that just simply pay for the course and they stop there. They only purchased it to prove to themselves that they're trying. So they can say to themselves, look, I took the initiative, I bet on myself. And it's crazy, they just let the journey stop there. They can't seem to motivate themselves and eventually they just listen to their fear and doubt and they give up before they even got started. And let's quickly look through this course through the lens of college. And honestly, that's a horrible lens to look at things, but just bear with me for a second. What happens if you don't go to your college classes? Is someone going to call you and reach out and ask, hey, why haven't you been in class? No, it's not their job to ensure that you go to class. You're the one that took the student loans. You're the one that paid. It's no one's duty to motivate you to go to something you signed up for and you paid for. If you don't go to college, essentially no one cares. They'll gladly take your money and be on their way. Now, some of you guys going through this course are going to need an extra push to get going. And I truly want to give you that. I'm going to do my best to give you guys that through our community groups, and we're all going to be pushing each other towards our goals. But truly, there's only so much I can do and we can do as a community. At the end of the day, it isn't my job to motivate you. It isn't my job to babysit you and make sure you're actually going to go through this course and do what you told yourself you're going to do. This is essentially your journey. This isn't school. I'm not your parent, and no one forced you to be here. You made this decision because you want to take control of your life. You want to create something you're proud of, and it's my job to provide you with the exact roadmap, tools, connections, and infrastructure to do so, and that is exactly what I'm going to do. But you must keep up your end and actually give this your all. And please keep in mind, I have never seen a student go through this course and truly apply themselves for a year without hitting $10,000 profit a month. Yes, there will be times that you get extremely discouraged, but the only way you're ever going to fail is if you stop trying. I can promise you these numbers are so attainable. This industry is a $1 trillion industry. There are thousands of stores that do millions and millions of dollars a month in sales. I promise you got this. I promise $10,000 is so attainable for you to achieve. But what's the difference between someone that hits 7 figures their first year and someone that can barely even get sales on their store? Ultimately, I believe the person who saw success did the inner work. They kept it in the forefront of their mind constantly. They were diligent and disciplined on this path towards their goal. They utilized all my strategies properly. And through doing so, their goals were achieved and presented to them. The opportunity arose, the insight came, they had their click moment when everything seemed to magically work in their favor because their inner world aligned with their goal. For one last example, let's look at someone who hits massive success, but their inner world world doesn't align with that success. The perfect example of this is lottery winners. $10 million lands on some idiot's lap. And guess what happens? He has a 70% chance of going broke within the first 3 years. That's a literal statistic. Not just going broke, literally filing for bankruptcy. You want to know why? Because they didn't have an inner world that was attuned at that frequency. They don't have the skills of managing $10 million. They're not at that level. It's like you're in a video game, a level 1 trying to wield a level 500 sword. You can't. You don't have the strength to pick it up. You don't have the ability. Ultimately, the frequency that person operated at was nowhere near at a $10 million level. So the universe got it out of their life. It had to leave. It can't stay. This is why these universal laws, these principles are true. They work in a positive light and they work in a negative light. If there's an imbalance between where you're at in life, one will regress to the other. If your inner world's at a high frequency, your outer world has to match. If your inner world's at a low frequency, but you got $10 million, it has to lower and pair. There's no way around it. Just like the law of gravity. It doesn't matter how you feel. If you drop an apple, it's going to hit the ground. This is why your inner world needs to be at such a high focus. And with all this talk of inner world, it naturally brings up the topic of traumas and deep emotional work that a lot of people need to handle. Unprocessed emotions are insanely detrimental to your future success. You won't be able to tune your inner world to a high frequency if you're weighed down by all this past negativity. You have to declutter your inner world from all this weight and negative emotion. If you truly do have deep traumas, they need to be addressed. They need to be cleared, and you're going to do this through self-evaluation. You need to come to terms with everything that's happened to you in your past. It brought you here today for a reason. And frankly, it might be the best to speak with a therapist. If I didn't speak to a therapist, I would not be who I am today. I've gone through quite a bit in my life. I've seen my mom nearly die in front of me. She was in a horrible accident in a coma for 2 months, and I was a first responder to the accident at like 12 or 13 years old. Doctors told us to pull the plug on life support, and her miracle success story was so crazy that we were on the Today Show back in like 2014. I also watched my brother die from overdose and was thankfully resuscitated and brought back to life. I also went through emotionally abusive step-parents, through multiple divorces, and I even battled with some drug addiction myself at a young age. I watched my family go bankrupt for a small time, relying on local churches and governments to get by. I've seen a lot in life, and truly when I look back at it, it's motivated me to become who I am today. I truly believe negativity is in our lives to fuel us, to motivate us to be better, to do better, to achieve more. That is the purpose of negativity. That is its natural function in reality. You cannot run away from these things. You cannot avoid the negative things that have happened to you in life. You cannot hide from them. You can't view them as some evil thing that happened to you that you're scared of or should avoid. You need to face these things from your past. You need to look at your past self. You need to look at your inner child and give them a hug. Take care of them as your future self now. You need to face these issues of the past. You need to let them dissolve. You need to accept them and quit holding on to all of this insane weight. Because if you don't, nature will continually bring up these emotions and keep presenting issues in front of you until you handle them, until you face them. I promise you, you will never overcome until you learn to accept your past. It's truly the only way out. You must cut the emotional tie to your past. You must clear the negative energy. Let it fuel you to create the life you truly desire, the life you truly deserve. You will create this life. You have the power to do so. You will create a better life for yourself, for your family, for your kids or future kids. You will be the positive change for the next generations to come. I have full faith in that. I've never questioned or doubted it for a second. Nature gives everyone this opportunity to make a change, to make a name for yourself. And you have shown initiative. You have taken action. Deep down, you believe you are worthy of this change. But make no mistake, you will have to work your ass off to achieve this, to become who you truly want to become. If you have a heavy heart, a heavy past, please do yourself a favor and invest in counseling. I promise you, it couldn't be more worth it. I truly would not be who I am today speaking to you if I didn't heal my past, if I didn't go to counseling myself. Promise, if you want this life, you want this goal to be achieved, it's a necessary step on the path. Now, I know all of that is extremely heavy and we have to go even deeper back down to reality one more time. I know talking about topics like that can be very hard for some people. It's even hard for me. So if you need to, take a quick pause and come back to this video when you're ready. We're almost done. The last thing I want to mention is on your path towards success, luck and timing are actually a pretty big part of it. Like I said, there will be some of you that hit 10K months on your first month, and maybe some of you don't deserve it. There will also be someone who doesn't hit 10K profit months for 6 months, but they deserve it 10 times more than the person who did. Everything in life regresses to the mean. Remember that. Whatever your standard is, whatever you operate at a daily level, that's where you're going to resonate. That's where your frequency truly lies. challenges. That's why it's so important to set standards for yourself, hold yourself accountable, be disciplined, and have a daily schedule. It's so important to make sure your inner world is clean so when life does regress to the mean, you're at the level you want to be. You're at the frequency of your goal. Last thing I want to say is it's extremely important to never have the fear of success. It's so important to feel worthy of success and feel like you deserve it. I have had countless opportunities fall on my way in my early days, and I didn't capitalize on them because I didn't think I was worthy of them. I didn't think it was possible. I thought I was dreaming too big. I thought if I tried, it would all just blow up in my face and I'd lose everything and be back at square one again. You know, whatever bullshit story I told myself, which is basically just an excuse to get out of trying. It's an extremely real thing to get presented with opportunities and not feel worthy of them and shy away from them. And a lot of the times you've done this in your past subconsciously without even knowing you're doing it. I want you to know that everyone gets luck. Everyone gets a big opportunity. The most important thing is to make sure you're ready for it. Everyone catches their break. Everyone has that one day that changes everything forever. You just have to make sure you're ready for that opportunity and jump on it with full force and intention. With that being said, now that we've discovered the inner world, it is time to transform the inner world. And that is exactly what we're doing in the next video. Your last action steps for today are to read the book, The Kybalion, learn those 7 principles of the universe. Number 2, detach from your past. Seek counseling if necessary. I promise you, your future self will be so grateful that you got rid of that weight. We're essentially climbing a mountain, and a lot of you have 20 to thousands of pounds in a backpack on your shoulders as you're trying to climb up this mountain, and it's just not possible. So make sure you go cut that extra weight. Number 3, just get ready to transform your inner world. I'll see you guys in the next video.